shades again. Don't want out or in. This heart has closed the door.
Hi guys to everyone, it's Ada from Poison Rock, and today I have a special guest. I'm really excited because I know Oceans of Slumber, but I'm more interested in this album. I read it and it's really deep, but they might be wondering who is doing an interview with Cammie Beverly. First of all, how are you, Cammie?
I'm doing good.
It's
Waddling around a bit. Nothing really.
completely. Oh, there's a lot of things going on in your life right
Yeah,
now. Then.
yeah, totally.
It's a beautiful. When it's supposed to be the time?
March, end of March.
No, almost.
Yeah,
Oh, congratulations! It is a boy or a girl?
a girl.
Oh my God!
We're
Yeah.
so excited. Yeah,
Oh my God! Congratulations! I mean, the
thank
album,
you.
the baby girl. I mean,
Yeah,
it
I
definitely.
get the album and then I get a baby.
It's your here. It's your here. I
Yeah,
get
for
it.
sure.
So it's Cammie Beverly ears. Of course, people knows you, for being in Oceans of Slumber, but you are really you have a big personality. You're like a Leo on the stage, on the music. So I'm really interested, and I think people too, to know more about you, Cammie, as a woman, as a daughter, as a kid, as a little girl growing up, and also how you became such a big, powerful woman.
I guess it's been a growth in progress.
Okay,
I feel like I always find myself feeling and thinking a lot more singularly. Um,
that's important.
it's easy for me, I guess it's easy for me to be strong and do more for other people than it is for myself. I'm often quite insecure and kind of cerebral all the time.
Okay.
And so where I feel most confident is making music and being on stage because then I'm kind of a champion for other people and I'm helping other people by being up there and with the kind of songs that we make. You know, they're meant to be emotional and cathartic and,
Yeah,
provide people this outlet for their own struggles. And so,
yeah,
you know, growing up, I was always writing, I was always singing and arguing with people about things I cared about. And so as I've gotten older, those foundational things have stayed, but it's still a work in progress, as I enter this new transition of going into motherhood. It brings a whole new host of insecurities and things that I am working on or want to be better at. So it's an ongoing thing for sure.
it's a new part of your life. It's a new, like, of course, it's a new chapter of your life. They may say one of the most beautiful, of course, but
Yeah, I think.
of course, growing up, and how do you find out about your singing skill, and when you also decided that you want to be like not just a girl maybe singing in the shower, or just but also give, because I think you give your beliefs, you give strength to your voice, to your belief, your thoughts. So that's important, especially for singers and musicians. They have this.
I mean, I grew up in a really musical household. My
Okay.
dad was a musician and my mom is a amazing singer. Like that's fully where I get my voice and my love of singing and the sort of default setting of singing for everything. Um, I never thought about becoming a professional singer or like singing for other people or on
Yeah.
stage until I met Dauber and he was like, you should be singing on stage and you should be doing this professionally and be in my band. And so with Oceans, it's a metal band and that comes with
Yeah.
a lot of a lot stronger boundaries than I would have thought. And obviously, with a band, you make any kind of music, people expect you to just stay in that genre. And I feel
Forever.
like the confines of a genre are maybe stronger than they used to be, but we have other interests and we have other writing and I have other modalities to my voice. And so that's where we decided that we would try and do,
Yeah.
a another project that would allow us more freedom to move around and experiment with other genres.
Yeah. Um, Being in Oceans of Slumber, of course, Pete, you're part of a band, a musical project, and you release a ton of albums that people can go and check it out, of course. What brought you to just go more with your own debut album? So just it's not like it's a solo project, but it's not that you left the band. So, but you're just more. So what was this decision? What leads you to that?
After Oceans did Starlight and Ash, we kind of learned that Oceans wouldn't really be allowed to
Okay.
um, venture too far from what people expected. And I think fans received it fine and the album did well, but industry wise, it made everyone kind of upset with us. And it kind of put a strain on our relationships industry wise with the label and different people because nowadays I feel like in the music industry they want to be able to say that you're one thing so that they can like market you and kind of shove you down the throat of that
Yeah.
algorithm. And so if you change, if you're nuanced, if you have too much variety, well they can't like peg you and then, put a hashtag with you and send you on your way.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I
so
agree, I agree.
Dauber had a lot of this music on already. Like some of those songs were before we even got together.
Okay.
And when it came down to, you know, wanting to express ourselves differently,
Yeah,
wanting to just be in a different arena, being tired of the sort of glass ceiling that comes with being a woman in the metal scene,
yeah,
we decided that we would start a new band.
yeah.
And what started as the idea for a new band with these songs, we decided would just be a solo project because
Okay.
we thought that by making myself a solo artist, especially as a woman, that I would have a lot more freedom to not be stuck with one genre. I
Yeah,
feel like when you have female solo artists, people just kind of take them for what they are as a personality and your albums can sound very different.
yeah,
Um, it will all be, kind of this alternative dark wave pop, sort of Southern Gothic,
yeah,
country-esque,
yeah,
soul stylings, but it some of it can be heavy synth, or some of it
yeah,
can be acoustic, or some of it can be orchestral, and we have that freedom because of how it's packaged. And
yeah.
so that's why we decided to
To go with it,
create a solo project and sort of, move away from
of course.
have another outlet outside of the metal scene, at
Yeah.
least for me.
No, that is important because especially like you said, uh, when you're a woman in the metal scene or music community, part of something like you're that voice and that's it. That voice, that image of you. So when you
Mhm.
go move in something, when you gotta move in something different, maybe not many people will understand why. They'll ask you what the fuck is going on. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. I mean, you have a beautiful soul voice, you have different shade of music. That's what I mean, especially singers. It's the same thing with any musician, but especially singer, when you have an amazing voice that can go through different genre, why go going only with one? Just
Right. Yeah. And I don't want to be stuck in one place, and I
yeah,
don't want to be, it's been a hard sell. It's been
yeah,
a hard venture to even really truly feel accepted like in the metal scene. And so by doing the solo project, it's 100% just the essence of what I want it to be. Like I don't it didn't come out, it didn't come up with this idea of like it needs to fit a certain genre or I'm trying to
yeah,
be this style of artist. Like it gets to just be me and fully
Okay.
my personality. And so it's nice not to worry about the bells and
Sure.
whistles that have to go along with that.
Sure, and of course, since like we always remember that it's gonna be released the full length the 21st of February. So we are almost, it's less than a month now. Of course, I think you might be you have too many things to be excited. Can you tell some minutes? I don't know which. Of course, the kid, the baby girl is, I think, is the biggest. Let's say they are both your kids. One is uh, something not physical. Another one is physical. But
No,
of
I agree. We've always thought about the albums that way. I've always felt like they're
it's a baby.
in a way like babies, and then they grow, they come out and they go out to the world and they like become their own thing. And so
They
it is
became,
very,
yeah,
it's been really interesting to have these releases kind of cascade over
uh,
the pregnancy.
yeah,
And it reminds me, because I'm kind of like in a bubble right now,
yeah,
like hibernation mode. You know, I'm like a little bear in a den, and so it kind of reminds me that like, oh yeah, I was doing other stuff. I still I still had a life outside of sleeping all the time. So
but it's
it's been nice.
normal. And do you think a little bit because of course, like while House of Grief, like in general, the composition, I don't know if it was already you were already pregnant with it because usual I don't know, maybe while you were writing and composing you were already expecting.
No, no, no.
Okay.
These songs were finished in like 2018. We've been sitting on this album for
Oh,
a long time.
oh, geez. So
Yeah, like we finished this album in like 2018, and
okay.
it didn't do anything with it for like a couple of years because it was just for fun. Like it was
Yeah,
just to
so was there nothing in that
it was like a bonding exercise, you know, with
yeah,
Dauber and I, and it was just to keep our creative juices going and to have something in between to kind of help me mentally have something in between our album cycles for Oceans.
yeah, of course.
And I at first I didn't want to do anything with it. I didn't want to I didn't want it to be signed. I didn't want to make it public. And then like a year or so passed, and then COVID and all of that happened
Yeah,
anyway, and we kind of we forgot all about it.
okay.
He pitched it, or I don't know, it came up, and then Carl Marcus with Icons Creating Evil Art, like
Yeah,
he had it. I really don't remember how that came up, but he had it, and he's like, "Yeah, I'd be interested in like putting this out as Genoa, which was what we were gonna call it. It was a band." And we like I just didn't get back to him. Like I didn't say anything. So then Oceans does its thing.
yeah,
Ocean switches labels. And then finally we're like, oh, maybe we should, you know, communicate with him. He cares about this project. He's put money
yeah,
into this project, you know, helping us re-record it, and because we had recorded it at home, but I
okay.
wanted to re-record the vocals like in a proper studio.
Yeah,
Not that we couldn't record it at home, but like this the home studio we did it in, that and the house that we did it in just wasn't the best.
yeah,
So I wanted to re-record it like in our friend's like big studio, and then fast forward to now. So it's like that album's it's probably been the longest project we've ever
but
uh
yeah.
sat on, like, and
Oh,
not
a long
not done
way
anything
took
with.
its
Yeah.
way. It took its all
And
lot
so
way. That's
and so
long.
now, yeah, so all the songs have been done for a while.
Yeah,
Um way before this baby. And so those songs were written when my headspace was a lot more isolated in
okay,
a less happy way. And I
okay,
was really working through like a lot of depression
yeah,
um and anxiety, which I always am, but that album was probably written at my most turbulent and at one
yeah.
of my lowest points. I was
But
going through a lot of
yeah,
different kinds of like therapy, and
it was
House of Grief is
healing.
probably the biggest song on the album, and why the album ended up being called House of
Out of
Grief, just
grief, yeah,
because it's a psychology that it's a perspective, like an outlook that Dauber and I share about like your body is like a house, or your
yeah,
mind is like a house, and each of these areas, each of these rooms sort of represent these different thoughts and ideas and
yeah,
places that you can retreat inside yourself, or
yeah,
that like you have trauma or
yeah. I
something like
agree.
that.
It's
And
deep.
so it accumulated the love, the longing, the hope, the lust, the loss, like all the things that can happen in a house, all those stories that a
Yeah.
house can hold, our bodies hold too.
Yeah.
And so House of Grief was a way for me to get that all out and sort of encapsulate it. And
Yeah.
I'm glad that ultimately I came around and decided to share it.
Yeah. Because of
It's
course
quite touching.
lyric wise you already explained a little bit about the what was behind the lyrics, but in the lyrics in the theme there is a kind of a, because I always hear about this country gothic theme, and I'm not, I mean, I am for the country or for the gothic, but putting together, and maybe I never dig about it. So this took place also, like the sound is like a kind of a country gothic, or you explore other sound too in also.
We definitely explore other sounds.
Okay.
I think like Gothic is a good, like, it's one of the stronger
Okay.
like aesthetics of the album, but we
Oh,
definitely explore other realms. So like Kiss of the Moon is a very it's very Gothic synth, you
oh,
know, style. But then you have The Traveler, which is like a straight, you know, campfire side acoustic song.
wow.
Um, but I feel like in the same way, like Gothic and Southern Gothic are a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I feel like Gothic in its essence is more like Nosferatu
Yeah. Yeah.
and those
Yeah.
folks, but then Southern Gothic is more like Louisiana lore
Yeah.
and moss hanging off of
Beautiful.
trees
Yeah.
and willow trees down by a creek and
Yeah.
a abandoned farm and a pasture. It's like Southern Gothic intertwines a little bit
Yeah.
of it's the lore that, like, you
It's a
know, hop the pond over to America, and then you have the Southern lineage of, you know, the terrible things that happen intertwined with how people
yeah.
overcame them. And
Yeah.
so Southern Gothic has that little tweak of country life.
Yeah.
And so then
Definitely.
that's where I feel like you get that twang. And I think that that's the place that like Dauber and I meet at
It's important.
the most and in one of the best ways. And it combines that element of soul and
Wow.
Creole and country to make what I feel like my voice is the best combination of too.
That's
And so, yeah,
it's
it's
beautiful.
it's the overlying theme, and it's probably one that is the best essence of like my personality that
Yeah.
in albums to come
Yeah.
will like probably stay like a trend.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
And there is kind of specific, because of course you, like I said, you, we talk a little bit about the behind it, the sound, and lyric wise there is kind of a story that is talked to, or there is a topic that is focused on, like kind of, let's say, not to mask the darkness, like the depression of the anxiety, like this house that you explained, but you kind of, let's say, use allegories or something else to express this, or you talk straightforward about the feelings.
I think that I'm very metaphorical, like super
Okay.
metaphorical on this album.
Okay.
I really wanted to do like more storytelling,
It's beautiful. Yeah.
with the moral of the story being more hidden, not so straightforward. Um, I think all the songs minus maybe like The Traveler are mostly kind of like a have a folk story
That's,
uh
yeah.
kind of feel to them.
And it's,
It's
yeah.
representative of my anger, it's representative of my depression, or it's representative of my grief. It's not me just straight out speaking first person
Okay.
about it. You know, the song Paraffin is about like the rage that I felt and the anger that I had towards growing up very religiously. And it's a made up metaphorical story about a preacher who, you know, molests people being killed. So it's like it's obviously
Yeah.
very aggrandized and then like made into something like
Yeah.
really intense. But it's a folk story to represent like just how
Yeah.
deeply that anger or that rage can be felt, and how you feel like certain things are stripped or taken away from you or violated
Yeah.
when you grow up a certain way. And so, you know, lyrically, I wanted I wanted the things to be more vague, but at the same time, I felt probably more freedom with writing those songs than I have
Yeah.
for Oceans of Slumber, just because I didn't think the songs were going to go anywhere. And I didn't have the burden of like worrying about what people were going to think about them
Yeah.
lyrically. It was just, I like to write uh, poetry, and I like to write a
Yes,
little
but
bit
yeah,
more.
I think
Uh,
it's just poetry.
you like storytelling, and so I
It's
think that's
important.
and it really just is like, how I feel in the moment, but that's how I wanted to tie the songs of that
Yeah,
album together,
and
seeing as how the styles of the songs are
yeah,
kind of different.
yeah, and it's important because if yeah, it's important also to, like I said, to talk about these could be depression, anxiety, I don't know, obsessive, whatever problem anyone is feeling in the world. It's important. Violence against. It's important to tell it. Many people, many musicians go straight forward, which is okay as well. But I found it kind of a beauty and a delicacy with your own writing. Like, okay, it's not, it's a kind of a metaphor, but it can also, you know, touch the heart and make people feel understood. But with poetry, which is even more kind of, I don't want to say elegant, but it's, yeah, it's elegant. It's beautiful, and it's with all the Southern Gothic. I don't want to say vibe. I don't like it to say lore. It's more, you feel it more yourself. I think for people that can feel that and go deep inside your music, and it's the best way also to get know another side of you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
outside of the Ocean of Slumber, so who is Cammie behind everything, and especially supporting this side, because we want more of than that, because I love this kind of nostalgic, melancholic sadness. It's important because we live into that in the fucking society.
Yeah.
Sometimes women doesn't, especially women, we have to say it, we don't have fucking help from no one, so we have to just scramble along in the wall. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter where we came from, you have to always to scramble back in the wall. And it's important to recognize that, especially right now in history. We don't want to say nothing else. I think we both understand what we're talking about, where we are now in history. We have to be more kind of you close together, like help each other to find out. So I think for could be a beautiful, your House of Grief album is a beautiful work and a beautiful piece of art for women that are maybe struggling with these issues, or maybe want to feel the beauty, just escape a little bit from the daily life, and also to see that there is a beauty even sometimes in the darkness. So
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm glad that it conveys those things so concisely, because that's what it's meant for. Anything that I make and do that I decide to make public, it's meant to be for other people to find use in and to take like refuge in. Like I don't really make it for myself, because I would have it and then, just keep it and sit on it, forget about it. But
yeah,
when it goes out there, then it's something new and it's a tool, like it becomes useful, and that makes me feel good,
yeah,
that it can make other people feel that release or feel validated or feel supported. So thank you. Yes.
yeah. That's what I felt. And of course the album is going to be released the 21st. The pre-order are open, of course.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Pre-orders are up. The
okay.
link's on my bio,
Okay.
for pre-order and for at least for the songs, but the links, I'm pretty sure the album's up for pre-order too.
Okay, and it's gonna be available physical copy too, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, so people
I think
can
it's
tell me.
CD and LP.
Oh, cool. LP is amazing. So of course, I mean, at the moment, I think Cammie should just focus on, of course, on the release, but there's something more important, and that is coming. And too many emotions at one time. But can I
Yeah.
say, it was a really nice and sweet talking to you. Of course, still congratulations for your baby girl. Wish you all the best. And oh my God, your daughter will be so lucky to have a mom singing, like beautiful lullabies. I mean,
Yes. I can't wait to sing to her. I sing to her now. She hears me plenty,
Yeah, of
but I
course.
can't wait to see
Yeah.
how she feels about it.
So congratulations with your family, with everything, and looking forward to just see the album released. And maybe once there will be the time, we will have another chat and just
Yeah.
see how the albums goes. Right now, just focus on what's the most important things in the world for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A big hug, and well, see you soon then. Bye. Bye.
Yeah, for sure.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Dreaming if there's nothing to dream